Age. And in this live video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Mr. Donald J. Trump, which has changed over the last number of years, and also my observation of what I'm seeing out there in the media circus show. Perhaps you're seeing it too. It's wild. These are wild times in our world. And they're creating such a frenzy and such an anxiety in the world. It's toxic is what it is. And I don't even watch the mainstream media, right? I don't watch it. Perhaps you don't either. But my views are changing on Mr. Donald J. Trump as the media circus, rolls through the proverbial town square, as it always does. I'm starting to see through the BS and through the craziness and through the manipulation and next level manipulation tactics that they are employing. My thoughts changed on Mr. Donald J. Trump a lot over the last number of weeks and or months. Specifically, it started when I watched the Corbett Report from October. I think it was like October 17th, about borders. It was fascinating. Maybe you've experienced this. There's no reason our borders should have been open the last number of years. None at all, none whatsoever. And as James Corbett was talking about, it's all part of their bigger plan to usher in more control, make us lose more civil liberties, more freedoms, have more of our be more under their thumb, quite frankly. It's all part of their plan, and it's very easy to see it once someone explains it to you, like he did to me, and I see it now very clearly. And of course, Trump was involved in that, and I voted for Trump. I liked him, right? I liked him because he wasn't part of the establishment. He was a non-political figure. I don't trust career politicians. I never have. I think they're very detached from the people in the real world, boots on the ground. I think they've gotten us into the trouble we're in now, the situation that we find ourselves in, and that's why I'm just very sketched out by them. But the more time goes on, and the more time between what happened in 2020 with Operation Warp Speed and with all of the BS that happened, the more I see clearly the damage that was done. And of course, Trump was a part of that, right? I want to like him. I want to believe there's someone on our team in the White House that is looking out for Americans. But at this point, I can no longer do that, and I'm officially done with all of it. I probably am not going to vote in the upcoming election in 2024. I'm just not going to do it because it's so clear now that it's all this media circus, this big play to manipulate us and to keep us in an anxious state, to draw our attention, right? Our attention is currency, and to keep us waiting for this is going to be the one. Oh, this one's going to be the one. I remember this happened back when Barack Obama was president, and many people were like, oh my gosh, finally, especially on the Democratic camp. I don't think conservatives thought he was going to do them any favors, but especially on the Democratic camp, I know a lot of Democrats who were very disillusioned, excuse me, in Barack Obama when he came in and gave a bunch of money to Wall Street and bankers, right? And said, I've got to do this, bail them out. And people were like, what are you doing? Right? Those guys are criminal corporations. They're very criminal, and they make risky bets, do their thing with derivatives and all that, crash the system, make a bunch of money in that process, and then the American people bail them out. And I think a lot of people, mostly Democrats, were very disillusioned in Barack Obama and really had an eye-opener there. That's happening again with Donald Trump by my estimation. And I'm done. I think a lot of people are waking up right now that there's something moving in the world that is facilitating this great awakening. I don't have the document in front of me, but I put together a lot of, if not most of, the documentaries, movies, books, videos for you to go check out at greatawakeningguide.com and download that PDF. There are live links in there to watch all these, including some of them that are paid, that you need to typically pay for. I found them for free online, like the Real Anthony Fauci movie, etc. And That's why I put that guide together, to share knowledge and information, because it really is clear to me now that no one's coming to save us. Not Donald Trump, certainly not Joe Biden, certainly not anyone in the Senate or Congress. I have no idea who they're working for. It isn't the American people, but they're definitely working for someone. It's clear to me no one's coming to save us, and the media show, the circus, is just winding up and making people more anxious and fearful in some states, because some cases, because remember, fear is the mind killer. Frank Herbert. It is the mind killer, and that it's exactly how they were able to manipulate people so heavy in 2020 and 2021, and still some are being manipulated into this day, right? It's mind-boggling that some are, but that's how deep the level of like psychosis is, the level of mind trickery is. Remember, these people are master manipulators. And if you're not heart-centered and gut-centered, and your intuition is not super tuned in, and your discernment is not super high level, it's easy to be manipulated. And one of the other safest way is to never watch the mainstream media. What I see of the mainstream media, I just pick up here and there, walking past it. I don't listen to the radio in my car. I listen to high vibe music or chill music, classical music, something to keep that vibration high, because that's our biggest work right now in the world as human beings. Two things. One, to stop giving them our attention and pull it all back and focus on us, our purpose, our mission in life, being tapped in and tuned into what is happening in the world. And two, to keep our vibration as high as possible, to feel as good as possible, get as close to God as possible, because this world is wacky right now, as you well know. So two things: stop giving our attention to those people, and also then do things that keep us in a good feeling state as much as possible. That's our big work. See, I believe the reason that they weave these masterful stories and the put on this stage of all these people, we're going to help you in this way, or we're going to help you in that way. They want our attention. Attention is currency, right? And they want to keep us in an anxious, fearful state, because we're easier to manipulate in that way. And it's no bueno. The sooner that we all realize no one's coming to save us, that's when we retain our full power. And I've fallen into those traps as much as the next person, right? I'm just as guilty as the next person. I believed in Trump, and he has done some good things. But in my mind, the biggest glaring red flag with Donald Trump is what happened with Operation Warp Speed. I've come to the conclusion over the last number of weeks, and it's a tough thing to actually admit to yourself that, there's no one in government that is on our team that is going to save us. I've come to the conclusion that no one who is a friend of humanity, who is for the people, would have ever done Operation Warp Speed, because those corporations are the worst offenders in the United States and or the world for making fraudulent, misleading claims about their products to doctors and the American people. They're the worst of the worst. The Department of Justice has fined them the most of any companies, and all of them are on there. Pfizer, Moderna, Merck, AbbVie, all of them are on there. You can check it out for yourself. There's a Wikipedia link with all the fines going back, 2 decades and maybe more, and they're billions of dollars. I'm going to be working on a short video coming up soon, talking about how anyone can run their business like the pharma business. All you have to do is have a slush fund of billions of dollars to pay for all the fines that you incur for making fraudulently misleading claims about your products. And then they still make money. Back to my point, no president that is a friend and an ally to the people of the United States of America could ever go along or have their brainchild be Operation Warp Speed. It's just not a possibility. That VACCINE splintered friendships, it splintered family relationships, it splintered work relationships. It pulled so much attention and focus and productivity and pulled people off their purpose. in the world. And as we're waking up, it was all BS. It was all BS, right? I believe the lie is going to come out. The lie is going to come out if it hasn't already. But I can no longer be a fan of Donald Trump after he did that, right? And people always say, and I used to be this one too, well, there's so much going on in the political arena. You know, you can't be everything, and you can't do everything, and you can't, you know, you can't get everything done that you want to get done, and that's fine. I'll give them that. I will give them that. But that hurt our world more than anything else. And again, going back to the fact of the matter, it would be different if those companies didn't have a long track record of fraudulent activity, criminal activity, if they weren't the number one public offenders, you know, in the world for doing what they do, doing criminal activity. So I can't go along with that. The circus is wild right now. I will admit that it is wild and wacky stuff. I can't understand what the Democrats are doing. You know, the manipulation, the level of fear, the level of bizarreness, just straight up bizarreness is off the charts. And it's very clear that just silly right now. It's just absolutely silly and, you know, wasteful in that manner. So that's my thoughts on what's happening with the circus. Let me chat with you a bit about your goals and dreams and your purpose in life, which is much more exciting than talking about the political sphere, because every one of us in our heart of hearts comes in with a payload to deliver, a gift or a talent to share with the world. And that's why I created the Focus and Flow product and apparel line at focusandflow.co. It is designed to help you remember that you are a creator. You can create either unconsciously or consciously, and it's far better to create consciously and share your gifts in the world. Steven Pressfield talked about it in The War of Art, and he said in the back of that book, The Artist's Life, that if you don't share your gift with the world, not only do you lose out, but the rest of the people in the world lose out. And also the angels that watch over you lose out. When you do share your gift, everything good happens, right? Focus and Flow is about focusing on what makes you different and unique, leveraging that and creating products and services and aligning your purpose and your mission with who you are in the world. I believe right now that's where the real power is going to come from. And that's what the powers that run the world have always feared, is that humanity will wake up to their true nature, their authentic being, and be themselves. See, for a long time, they've captured the consciousness of humanity. That's how they get their power. They capture the consciousness, they dull our shine, they dull our sparkle, and many people die with their gifts still inside of them because of fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, any of the things that we all struggle with in life. That's what they use in order to manipulate us. I mean, it starts when kids go into the education system. You've seen the little kids, they're bright, shiny. They're so curious with life. After they go into the bullshit education system, they come out shells of human beings. Most of them. It's taken me decades to get past that shit. You know, again, back to the fear, the doubt, the worry, the anxiety of going in and being shaped. Earl Nightingale talked about it as conformity, right? They're being made to conform to something that to a persona, to a character that doesn't even exist in the world, right? It's so sad what happens to little children, especially in Western school systems, that they just get dulled down. Kids lose their ability they lose the drive and the inquisitiveness and the curiosity to learn. We know kids are naturally curious. When you put them through the education system, and then when they come out at 18 years old, many people, and I run to people all the time like this, that they're so dulled down and disenfranchised with life that they don't know themselves, and they don't even have any desire to learn anything, because they've been told what to do for so long, and they think education is, I'm going to tell you what books to read and what to do this, that they don't want any part of it, not knowing that there's that gift or that talent inside of them, that purpose, that if they nurtured that and got in that vein and started learning and reading and doing, watching videos or listening to audios that nurtured that, that's when the juiciness of life comes in, right? That's why I'm so big on purpose. And I talk about purpose all the time. People that are on their purpose, they don't have time for the bullshit. They don't have time to watch the news. They don't have time to listen to politicians. They don't have time for any of the silliness. People who don't have a purpose, they have all the time in the world for that, right? And it's super detrimental to society. So focus and flow is about helping people know themselves and be themselves. And it's be you, do you, and have an extraordinary experience in life. When you're being you and doing you, you have zero competition, right? You are a unique fingerprint in the world, and no one is competing with you at all. And that's what needs to happen right now, right? Some people have figured out the formula, and some people are really thriving right now. You can learn more about those products and services at focusandflow.co. And there's a bunch of things there, reminders, and I'm coming out with the new products all the time, including a new guide that will help you on your journey. But it's so vitally important to figure out your purpose these days and do your purpose and live your truth and tune out from the outer world. Years ago, I came to this conclusion that in order to do our thing in the world, we have to tune it all out, right? We have to close down. We have to shut it all out. The noise in the world. This is what happens when people meditate, right? When you meditate on a consistent basis, you're getting in touch with your true authentic self. You're getting in touch with the aspect of you that I believe is on the spiritual side, right? When you meditate over a period of time, you build new neural pathways, you build new, that gap between what's happening to you and your reaction to what happens to you gets wider so that you can make a conscious choice on how you want to react to that situation. And that is where the magic happens. That's where people break repeating patterns of behavior, right? That's when people have the ability to make a conscious choice. How do I want to react to this situation? Or do I want to even react to this situation? If you don't meditate, if you just wake up every day and become like a drone, like the system wants you to be in this reactionary state, easy to manipulate, easy to control, that's when people sometimes could go their whole life and never really know themselves and never really know why they're here. So it's vitally important not only to pull our attention back, but also to tune into the purpose. I think it's the thing that's going to save humanity from the clown show that wants to capture all of our attention. And it's super vitally important right now. And also to speak up and speak your truth. I think there are a lot of people still on the sidelines, and I don't blame them. I sit on the sidelines sometimes too, because it's sketch out there. It's sketch out there. Some people are very, very adamant in their stance, and they're like, I believe this. And if you don't believe what I believe, or if you question my beliefs, I'm going to attack you. That's how it can be. But we have to speak our mind right now. This is what's happening in the world. It's very important right now. I think as time goes on in 2024, it's going to be even more important that people speak their mind. I've often said in this situation, I believe it is a war. It is a war between the good and the evil, the light and the dark. In this situation, I don't believe there will be any conscientious objectors. Not getting involved is a conscious choice to comply with what they're saying. And I'm speaking from experience. It's not easy to stand up and say, hey, I don't believe in what they did in 2020. I don't believe in what the government is doing. I don't believe I have questions of what's going on in Gaza, right? I have serious questions there. It's difficult to say that because you're going to trigger some people. But it's vitally important that each of us as human beings on the planet right now make a choice. Like, what side are you on? I don't believe there will be any conscientious objectors. Silence to what is happening is consent to what is happening. If we don't speak up, they assume what they're doing is just fine, and they're going to continue to do it. And that's why they've continued to do it for so long, right? And again, I didn't always speak up, but they pushed so hard in 2020, 2021, last 3 years. They went so hard in the paint that I could not speak up, because I realized, well, I'm not going to live in a world that's ruled by tyranny and corruption, that's ruled by people that are making rules for thee but not for them. I'm not going to live in that world. These are the most corrupt people. You look at our politicians, look at our lawmakers, look at the people who finance groups that disrupt society. They're the worst of the worst. They want the chaos. They want the disorder because they profit from that, right? And or throw in billionaire philanthropists who make money from this. And you got a whole cocktail of bullshit, like a whole cocktail of BS. And there comes a point in time when you look in the mirror and you say, well, I'm not going to live in this world, and I will do everything in my power to not allow them to win, not allow them to get what they want. And honestly, I think because people are resisting, because people are standing up, I don't think it's going as well for the New World Order and the globalists as they want it to. Honestly, I don't. I don't think if they tried another BS like they did in 2020, it would go nearly as well. I think people are super awake now and super riled up. There's still some people that are asleep and they may never wake up. That's fine. It's just going to be what it is. But I don't think it would ever go the way that it went in 2020. I know I wouldn't comply and be polite and wear an mask like I did to, go in certain places. I didn't believe in it then. I was just kind of not wanting to rock the boat or make waves. But when you start investigating and researching and doing your homework and seeing all of the corruption, like what's happened with these COVID lockdown parties and again, back to the rules for thee, but not for me. A lot of these politicians were doing something very different from what they were preaching, and people are onto it, and thank God for that, because I think they're completely bought and paid for. I think they're owned by whoever gives them money. Whoever gives them money owns the politicians. It's not hard to figure out, and this is why I pray for people all the time that still might be listening to the politicians for guidance and advice. Oh man, it's just wild on either side, Republicans or Democrats. It's wild for me to think about that. But everyone's on their own path, and that's something I have to come to terms with as a person who cares about people and wants people to be under their own influence. I'm fine if people are under their own influence. I love that, because then I know they're doing what they feel is right for them. What really pisses me off, excuse me, is when corrupt people influence my fellow human beings. That's when I lose it. And when I become aware of it. It's been happening for a long time. I didn't really become aware of it until the last 3 years. Many people became aware of the last 3 years. That's when I get pissed off. That's when I'm like, you know what? No, you're done. They've been making money off us for a long time, enriching themselves, enriching their friends in the military industrial complex, in business, in partnerships. They've been doing that shit for a long time. They just happen to take it to a whole nother level in 2020 with this whole new game plan that some people probably saw coming. I didn't see coming because I didn't pay attention to them. But that's when I was like, no, you've gone too far now. You've really gone too far. And I'm not down with it. Many people aren't down with it. And thank God for that. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you are staying on your purpose. Go check out Focus and Flow, products and apparel for conscious creators at focusandflow.co. If you like this live stream, give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I'd love to have you as a subscriber here on my YouTube channel or on social media. I share different things on social media in different places, or even on Telegram. I don't spend enough time on Telegram, but that's also a viable place that I'm at G Mark Phillips, everywhere at G Mark Phillips. Instagram is kind of the tip of my spear where I share the most information and videos, memes, etc., to help people on their journey, share knowledge and information. That's what it's all about. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Stay awake and aware right now. Stay plugged in, stay tuned in, protect your consciousness. Super vitally important. And I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.